Hello. Thought we'd start off with a lovely bit of bird song, especially for you, Lorraine. I hope you're well. Anyway, we're back down here again today, and the weather's a bit different today. A bit grey, but that doesn't keep us down. I wanted to show you a little miracle. Now, last year, this was our brassica cage, and the butterflies got in, and the caterpillars ate all of our purple sprouting broccoli. And then it got really rainy and mucky, so we didn't come down anymore, and I didn't clear these up. But look what is happening. We are getting some purple sprouting, and if these continue and keep on growing, it'll be the first time I've successfully grown purple sprouting broccoli without it being eaten. And if I notice it being eaten, then I'm going to quickly pick it and we'll have the baby florets, because I'm determined to have some homegrown purple sprouting broccoli. Up next, I'm going to plant out the rest of, hopefully I can get the rest of our red barren red onions in. They need to be planted 20 centimetres apart. That's the 20. So I shall move along. Now, because I've started these off and they've got a little bit of a root, we don't want to damage the roots. So we dig a hole and just gently pop them in. Like that. And then we do the next one. I'm just going to fill this half a bed as much as I can with the onions we had left over yesterday, and I brought a couple more from home, and we'll see you when that's finished. I have now put all of the onions in. I managed to get them all in, so that's good. Red onions are healthier for you than white onions. I think it's the heart they're better for. So anyway, they're all in. And what I did is I staggered them. They need to be 20 centimetres apart. And I did a slight staggering, which meant that I could get the rows slightly closer together and still have them 20 centimetres apart. If I'd had that genius thought on the bed we did yesterday, then I might have got some more in the bed yesterday. But we live and learn, and we've been gardening for, I don't know, 20-25 years, growing our own, and still these things occur to us out of nowhere. So yeah, so all the red onions are in. Now at the front of the bed there are spring onions. You can see they're slightly lighter green than the leeks. That's another way of telling them apart. And as I said the other day, when you pull them up with the spring onions, you get a really strong smell of onion. It's quite a sharp smell rather than the leaky onion kind of smell. And I've put a line across there because we've got a bit of space. And I'm going to put in, as I've got them in my pocket, some more spring onions. These were given to Rose by our good friend Christine, who lives in the village. Hello Christine, hope you're well. So we'll stick them in along that little bit of row. Okay, I've tipped them in this Tupperware, as this is all we've got at the moment, just to show you what the seeds are like. Quite small. Now yesterday when I showed the video of them going to flower, they get a big, very light green, white flower on the top, and when that dries out, in those little, they've got little, the whole flower head is made of lots of little tiny flowers, and that in each one of those is one of these little black seeds. Just go around to the other side of the bed. This is what I like about the 4-foot beds. They are easy to reach across. And if you've got mobility problems like I do, you're not having to stretch and strain yourself so much. That's why we like these 4-foot wide beds. There we go. There's a couple of seeds left. Do you know what? I might move that string along and just stick these couple in. See what comes up. We can pick them young, so they still give the onions room to spread out. So I'll just move that line over. Okay, that's those all covered up. I managed to get half a row of spring onions in there, and I've left the other half open so I can bring down some more and finish off the line. I've covered up the onions and the spring onions. Now, there are two schools of thought with burying onions. One is to bury them halfway up and to leave some sticking out, and that's what we did at home when we just put them in the trays, and they did sprout very well and the roots came. And some people say just to bury them. Now we have left, don't know if you can see, little bits sticking out the top, and hopefully that will stop the birds from digging them up, but I will put some sticks over. So now I will take my packet, put that in my pocket so I can update our database at home, and I'll show you that when we get home what we do. Just keep a record of everything we've sown. Okay, there are our onions protected. The cage is still standing from the other day, and here is Rose happily weeding. Weeding isn't the best job in the world, is it, darling? No. But it needs to be done, and there's not much in this bed, so that's good. You're doing a great job.
I found a bit of fox hair.
A bit of fox hair? Oh, that could be as well, couldn't it?
Yes.
Who knows?
I knew where I found it. I found a grub with a red slash on its back.
A red slash? Oh, I don't know about those. What did you do with it?
I just threw it on the grass.
You threw it on the grass. Okay. At least it's out of the bed, whether it's friend or foe. Right, now I want to show you what we did at the weekend. Let's go. This is where Rose's rhubarb patch was. And it came down and dug us a nice patch. And we now have in here 12 raspberry canes. So that'll be nice. Rose said some of them were sprouting already. There we go. These were sent to us by a lovely lady, Victoria. And there's a little bit of a gap at the end. So these are the last canes. And we've got space for 4 more at least. We could always extend the bed. Like Rose wants to do some building there. And we have got, that can go in the ground, this rhubarb from Grandma. Hello, Grandma. And she also bought from Wilkinson's these two. Now this one's a raspberry, doing well, really needs to go in the ground. And she also fancied trying some blackcurrants. She likes blackcurrant flavoured stuff. It's looking a bit withered. I think that needs to be potted on. And I'm out of compost, so we might have to go and get some compost. Not the Levington stuff. And we've got a bucket down here, a nice big one, so it could go in there. Because at the moment I don't have the energy to dig a hole to get Grandma's raspberry out of there to stick in there to put our blackcurrant in. So hopefully people aren't panic buying compost. Are you panic buying compost? Now, coming back to this rhubarb, this was the only one that I didn't separate at the weekend. There's a couple of clumps in there. So I need to separate those out and get rid of the grass. And I'll do that in just a moment because we have Ella coming to pick these up in a minute. And we don't want to hand them over like that, so we'll make sure that they're nice and ready to go straight in her ground. Now we're moving on to our strawberry bed. And before I get planting in here, I'm just going to sprinkle and dig in some bone meal. Thanks to Tony at Little Farmer's Farm for the tip. I would have just stuck them in, but I'm going to give this a go. Give this a sprinkle, and it helps the roots. So it'll help the strawberry runners to root in. I can't do this one-handed, so I will do that and come back. Right, I've given it a little sprinkling. I've mixed in most of the bed. I just wanted to, I'm just really loosely just rubbing it all in. Very scientific. I find with gardening, things can get very technical, and especially if you're new to it, it can be quite daunting, and you know, you're worried that you're not doing the right stuff, but at the end of the day, plants want to grow. They want to grow and they want to produce their fruit or their whatever they do to reproduce. That is what they live to do. So I mean, our leeks, with Grandad's leeks last year, we were putting them in this bed, and they were in a big tray, one of these. Lots of them, looked like grass. And Rose was planting them in. I think we did that on video. And some of them got dropped on the grass here. We didn't notice. They weren't planted, they were just dropped. Little tiny pieces of grass. Well, they grew. We didn't plant them. And we've picked them and we've eaten them now, because I saw them in the grass. And as you can see, these are doing really well. When we planted these, my dad, Rose's granddad, saw the video and he said, "You've planted them wrong." And at the time, I wasn't thinking Rose was planting them. She was digging a hole with the trowel, popping the leeks in and covering them back up. And he explained the traditional method of digging the hole, doing like a round dibbed hole. Some people fill it with water and then just pop the leek in, and then a lot of people just leave it. And I thought, oh my goodness, they're not going to grow. But you know what? They did want to grow. And if the ones just left laying on the grass grew, these ones, with the very nice compost, were definitely going to grow. So, we've given this compost a boost with the bone meal, and now we are going to sort out the runners. I will get 18 plants in this bed, and looking at the runners I pulled up the other day, I'll choose the biggest ones. But I was looking over here, this last row, I didn't sort out the runners, and there's some even bigger ones. This one here. So and there's another big one there actually. I shall go through and I shall get the biggest runners and I shall pop them in that bed. Look at those. 18 new strawberries, all for free, and my favourite El Santa variety. I managed to dig out some more from this bed. There are still a little extra than what should be in there. The straw will rot down, so I'm going to leave that there. But Ella came down for her rhubarb, and I managed to give her some strawberry runners too. So she'll be busy this afternoon as well. And now we are going to go home for some lunch. Homemade bread rolls. I think we'll do that before I show you our spreadsheet of how we record our plantings. So we'll see you at home. Yummy. Homemade, fresh out of the oven bread rolls. These are tomato and garlic flour that we've used. Many of you have started to make your own bread in the current climate, which is really good for the environment. So thank you, because you're leaving those plastic bags on the shelves. And we've been making our own bread for about 3 years. And normally when I make rolls, we just roll them into a ball. But we thought we'd have a go at making plats and a knotted roll. So this is our lunch today. Can't wait. Let's dig in. We've had lunch. Our bellies are full. 2 happy girls. And here, as promised, is our spreadsheet. Normally I just keep this on the computer, but when you try to video a computer screen it goes all blinky. So I printed this off so you can see. I've got colour coordinating at the top so I can see at a glance. What I've sown is the light green. When I've planted it out it's the darker green, and harvest is like a browny colour. And I've just told myself at the top what the colours are when I go to fill in the gaps. And it's very easy, so I can see what I haven't sown. So I can see that I haven't done any beetroot yet. That's in our sights for quite soon coming up. Callaloo, we've got some of that. So I also keep a note of the brand. So we've got what it is, the variety, the brand, and then I will put when we've sown it out. And now you can see I've written if they've done in a propagator or if it's just indoors. These were some notes from last year. These must have been the onions. Look, yes, the onions. So in the trays, in the mushroom trays, and then the 19th we planted them out. Again, I say if they're in a tray. Oh, that was the spring onion that we planted today. I have altered that now and put in the beds, so I know it's got in the bed because I know I'll just confuse myself. So that's that. And I've got one more thing to show you. Right, this is a plan of the grown-up allotment, Nick and my allotment. I think I've shown you roses before. So this is what we've got. There's our huge rhubarb patch, and then the strawberries. This is the El Santa bed we did today. The leeks and garlic, and this was spring onions, but every single one had been eaten. So I can see there's a gap there, just to remind myself that I need to sow something in there. The red onions we did the other day, the red onions we did today, and the spring onions we did today. And then I've got this bed free, and this bed hasn't been built yet. So that's that. And we know we've got, I haven't marked what we've got in the greenhouse because I know we've got carrots at the moment in the greenhouse. These are our compost. This is the pink one, is a little pot of flowers. The ladder allotment is like a shelving unit that came from Grandma, and we can grow things on that in troughs. I will be growing more carrots on there, and I might try the kale in a trough up there. Maybe that'll stop being eaten. What else do we have? Oh, these are our little herb beds. This one's got majorum in the corner, but there's room for other herbs in that one. And this one again has yet to be built. We build these with the offcuts from the wood that we use for our 6x4 beds. And this was empty, but since the purple sprouting broccoli is coming back, I've put that in. So you can see our Brussels sprouts and red and white onions. There's 2 rows of each there. And I think they come in packs of 50. So we've got 100 onions there, 18 there. I can't remember how many I got in there, but loads. And as well, at the moment, it looks like all we grow is rhubarb, strawberries, and members of the onion family. But a lot of people, when they're first starting out, they say, what can I grow? Well, advice is always grow what you eat. And we do eat a lot of onions. And it just so happens that here we are in March and it's time for that. So we've got lots coming on at home, lots coming on windowsills, in the conservatory, other things. So this will look less dominated by strawberries and onions a bit later. Now this was our very weedy patch. It all got very waterlogged, and the plan was to weed along here and put some potatoes in, but it's really tough going. So I'm going to convert this to no dig. This piece here is where we park our car when we can bring it down. So that's really convenient for bringing heavy bits down. So I think I'll do some more raised beds here. And the good thing about having this, it is done to scale, so I can easily calculate if I can fit some more beds along here. So that will be good. Another thing I wanted to maybe consider is putting a big long bed along here made out of pallet collars. I saw somebody had linked them together, which was good. See if I can get hold of some of those. That will be an option for us. So there we go. That's our allotment. And then up here is our little compound area. The blue is water butts. Our shed, we've got a water tank in there. And these are like kind of little lean-tos, but it does go further back, and there's another big lean-to and another lean-to up here as well. So yeah, there we are. That's our plot. It looks much neater on the table because you can't see the weeds. Right, well, we've got some potting on to do at home, so we will get on with that. And once again, thank you for joining us, and big hello to you all. Hope you're all safe and keeping well with the virus going around. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.